The way you usually animate a hand in 3D is by first sculpting and texturing a 3D model, then giving it this internal armature that you can animate, and this will displace the 3D model based on a set of weights. Basically these heat maps telling the software this bone should move this and that bone should move that. But that's not how the real world works. In reality, the hand gets its movement from 27 separate bones that move by a combination of tendons in your forearm and lots of tiny muscles in your hand that then displays a layer of fat, and then the skin sort of shrink wraps onto this. So my question for this video was, what if we approach creating a 3D hand by actually simulating each layer on top of each other? Will that create the most realistic 3D hand in history? Probably not, but it's a fun challenge. The first thing to tackle was creating a skeleton structure that gives the proportions of the hand. So I brought up some reference images and started blocking out the bones using subdivided spheres like this. And here I decided to simplify the bones of the palm, since those don't really move much anyways. Once that was looking good, I set that aside and started working on the actual hand mesh. I started by blocking it out in a low poly and then giving it some extra geometry around the areas that would stretch a lot, then subdivided everything and started sculpting it until it looked somewhat like a real hand. And hands are a little notorious to be hard to sculpt, but what helps is to use a ton of reference and really sculpt from that instead of any preconceived ideas of what it should look like. Then I rigged this hand with an armature to be able to preview the animation before actually simulating anything. I created some poses like this and then offset the timing to create a pretty lifelike hand animation. Now, to have the animation be as realistic as possible, the bones need to follow a specific set of rules. For example, this joint can only bend from here to here on the x-axis and from here to here on the z-axis. And if all of these rules are set correctly, bone simulation will be physically accurate and thus look as realistic as possible. So I set up my bones as a sort of ragdoll simulation with all of these constraints, and then used a separate driver set of bones to drive the rotation. This way it tries to follow the original animation, but with accurate limits and also some inertia from the rigid body simulation. And this is a little bit weird, but the bones of the forearm actually twist over each other like this when you rotate your arm. So I had to make sure to include that. So now the bone layer is done and it's time to simulate the muscles, fat and tendons. To speed up creating these individual muscles, I used a shrink wrap workflow and extruded the muscles into the hand like this, so that they would follow the shape of the hand. Then I turned this into a cloth simulation with some pressure and stiffness to simulate the muscles expanding slightly as they contract. So now we have something that looks like this, but if we try to simulate the skin directly on top of this, it would look way too malnourished, so we need to simulate an additional layer of fat first. So for the parts with more volume, like the pads on the fingers, I created these fat pads, just like the muscle sim. And then to sort of soften all of the shapes, I had this layer that would shrink wrap on all of these layers, which also created the webs between the fingers, which I thought was pretty cool. Now the last layer before simulating the skin on top of this are the tendons. And these connect to the muscles of the forearm to give the hand grip strength. And they add a really important layer of realism when the hand moves like this. So I created these tendons using a simple stretched out cube and then pinned the ends to the knuckles and the forearm, which gave us this result when the fingers move. And finally, we can simulate the skin both stretching and contracting on top of all of these layers using a cloth simulation. This was the final result of that, but we're still not in photorealistic territory. We've simulated the general movements of the hand, but we still lack those high resolution details that will make it read as real skin. So I subdivided the hand a ton using the multi-resolution modifier and then created some custom skin texture brushes in a separate project file. Then I could use these to layer on a bunch of wrinkles, pores and even fingerprints, and combined with some manual hand-painted details and wrinkles, we got this pretty realistic result. Then to color this, I used something very forbidden in the 3D community, AI. Jokes aside, because of my color blindness, it would be very hard to get the nuances of the skin color right, so So I asked an AI to generate a color palette from which I could pick the colors to create my diffuse texture. Now, combined with a lot of subsurface scattering, I think this color turned out pretty realistic. But as I went on to render some tests from this, I realized that it still felt a little bit too smooth and game-like. So I decided to give it an additional level of skin detail by creating a custom normal map in a separate file. I gave the hand some nails and even modeled the connecting parts of the nail bed right here. And then to top it all off, I created some very subtle hairs for the top of the hand. After combining all of these layers, the bones, the muscles, the fat, the skin, and finally the hair, this was the final result. Do you think this crossed the line into photorealism, or are there still areas that need improvement? I personally think it's like 80% realistic, but something about the movement or maybe shading gives it a little bit of a 3D look to me still. Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.